Okay, so we are recording. Welcome back to the third episode. Very pumped and looking forward to giving you my insights. So, one of the things that I noticed, and you probably noticed as well, is that the difference between the first painting and the second painting are not that different. It's stick figures and maybe a bit of straight line drawing. So, yes, there was a skill increase, but not as much as I would like. So, what I mean by this is the fundamentals aren't there on how I wanted to improve. So, it was effectively almost like I was just dawdling around trying to figure it out on my own. And so, with how my drawing skills are in the first two episodes, if I kept doing that, there was going to be no improvement. It was literally just using what I know, and when you don't know anything about it, it's just floundering. So I could easily have made 100 drawings like that and not had much improvement because I didn't know the fundamentals, because I didn't know any better. I know what good art looks like. Not that. I mean, look, anyone can draw that and have a bit of fun. And if you were to attempt drawing and you've never done it before, it may look like that as well. So this episode's going to be interesting because it ties to how we learn skills in general. So whilst I am talking about how it actually links to drawing, you can say it for any skill. If you go to the gym, if you want to start business, if you want to learn dancing, if you want to learn programming, it's the same. So that same kind of progress where you just go, okay, here's my baseline. I'm happy with my baseline, and now it's time to get serious. So that's where I am with the third drawing, and this is what I really liked, is because now I've started to go out and started to see what people who are doing better than me are doing, and I really liked it. So with this one, it's simple. You draw a straight line, you draw a C, or you draw an S, and that allows you to just add so much depth and dynamic to your pictures, whereas before everything was almost just straight lines. So it means that your people look very one-dimensional when you draw stick figures with straight lines. If you were to draw a stick figure, attach it to an S or attach it to a C, you've got a lot more flow with it. So with this episode, it's the age-old thing of you can practice as often as you like, but even if you've done it 1,000 times, if you're not trying to really push yourself and go that extra step of finding what you're doing, what you can do better, how you can do better, look, you're not going to progress. And I've seen it before. We've all seen it. So, I mean, if you go to the gym, you see the person that's there day in, day out, and yes, I am partly this person, but they're at the gym and they're lifting, they're reasonably disciplined, and they're the same size. They're either slightly overweight or they're slightly underweight, and they can't build size or they can't lose a weight. So as I was saying, I am this person and I've only just started to fix it up, but as most things that goes in pendulum swings, I do it really well, then I do it really bad, then I do it really well, then I do it really bad. But what it is that person's doing the seen thing, so they're doing what everyone can see. And with a lot of that kind of gym work, the results that they want, it comes about what they're putting into their body. And so for many years, like 5+ years of gym that I've done, you wouldn't even look at me and think I go to the gym, but the fact of the matter is I was not successful really ever at doing the food discipline, and that is, it's the same thing with those skills that you do. So if you want to do drawing, you can be disciplined at doing drawings, but you may not be going out and doing what actually counts, which is learning the skills of the fundamentals behind it. Same thing with business. You can be going and you can be churning millions of dollars, but that's a vanity metric. If your profit isn't there, like, what's the point if you are turning over millions upon millions of dollars and then you don't have much profit? It's kind of useless to some extent. And look, same with all the other skills. You can extrapolate them over everything. It's the fact that what can be seen and the unseen skills, majority of your progress is in the unseen skills. Like, if you are playing a game of sport, I don't care what it is, you have half an hour, 45 minutes, an hour on the field, maybe 3. But the amount of active time that you are even on the field for those longer games like golf, American football, cricket, the amount of field time that you actually have where you are active is quite minimal. So whilst everyone's looking at you there and then, it's all the unseen. So it's the coaching practices that you have midweek, it's the gym work that you do, it's the cardio work that you do. It's all about the unseen. So anything that you see when people are successful in those avenues, all you see, especially with things like the Olympics, all you see is their successes. You don't see the amount of work that they did behind the scenes. So this comes into a saying which someone repeatedly shoves down my throat, but it is a very good saying. And the saying is, practice does not make perfect. And the next part of that is the genius, and it is only perfect practice makes perfect. So it brings up a very good point, and it is the fact that if you're practicing something and you're not doing it correctly, it can lead you to just forming bad habits. So it's kind of thing where the high achievers are always sticking around together, and then you've got the rest of everyone else, and that can be in anything that you do. But just the way that they approach things is totally different. And so if you start off at the middle of the rung, it's a lot harder to then get up to the top, because you have to unlearn a lot of those disciplines which weren't really optimized in the first place. So perfect example is time management. Most people, not all, but a lot of people don't give enough emphasis to time management. So an example of this is, if you were to look at a company, the company will have people who, like your CFO, who's in charge of all the finances, your CEO, who's in charge of the direction of the company, your CTO, who's in charge of the technology, and you can even have a person who's in charge of all the culture, sometimes CSO. But one of the things that I find interesting is you've effectively dictated every single thing of the company, the direction, the money, the people, but no one actually ever sits down and then goes, time management, this is how you're going to do it. So that's very interesting in the aspect that it's left to people to decide on themselves. Yes, you can have people say, this is what you need to do, this is how you need to do it, this is when you need to do it. But that is tasked as a management style. It's not seen as something where you've got charge, and it's not based around the time. So a lot of people will call that micromanagement, and a lot of people dislike micromanagement. Some people perform really well under it, others don't. Now, it's one of those things that's optional to some extent. Whereas if you were to look at finances, it's not optional to have your reconciliation of funds stack up. If you don't have that, you're in a lot of trouble. You can be put away and not in good places. So it's the kind of thing where I find it curious that time is one of the aspects which is a finite resource, and yet it's not mandated by companies. I think if companies started mandating it, there'd be a lot of people just wouldn't work for them. But the aspect is if you were to look at the time management between the top performers and the bottom performers, that would be most likely one of the areas where there's a huge difference. So, anyways, thank you very much. Let me know what you thought about the whole time management and practice perfect and perfect practice. I will be talking about just more in depth about that in the future coming up. So, thank you very much.